I'm just waiting for Rifkin to say something.
Oh, wait, like we're live again?
We are. I
Okay, we're
think
live
so.
again. Can people hear you at all, Zombie Grub, or no? I'm
Ta-da!
confused.
Oh,
Okay.
nobody. Wait, that's
Okay, so
so
she's the
unfair.
operator. She's the
Okay.
operator. We're
All
in the
right.
Matrix. Get me
Jack
out of
me in,
here!
zombie grub.
Jack me out! Oh, nope. Okay, so we're getting into game number 1. Small change up, guys. I know Zombie Grub had just laid out the plans moments ago, but we're gonna be swapping it up. So it'll be myself and Rapid Casting doing the Lambo uThermal series, and then Zombie Grub will be doing a mix of the other guys for the finals. So let's get my piece in now. I'm actually really excited for this matchup, and I kind of like butted my way into our preset plans because I wanted to cast it so bad. These are two of my favorite European players, and I'm very excited. Do you actually? I'm curious, Rapid, because I know for those who don't know Rapid, he's very much involved with the Korean scene. I don't know.
For
Do you
those who
follow?
don't know me, okay, Rifkin.
Okay, ego, calm down there. I'm just saying he's very involved with the Korean scene. So I'm gonna ask you because I don't know how much do you follow the European scene?
I followed it as far as like I think most of the dream hacks are there, and
So like the premier stuff.
yes, and I watch like all the O gaming stuff too, so I get at least like some of it. The only parts that I don't get are probably watching things like Go for SC2 cups and some of like the other EU cups that go on. So like EU ladder heroes and other things. So I don't get a chance to see sort of like up and coming talent. Like I remember watching DNS in my first tournament, and I was like, wow, this guy's really good. And he had been playing for like 6 months, and everybody knew he was pretty good. So yeah, I know uThermal just because he's been pretty outspoken. He also followed me on Twitter, which means I automatically
Whoa.
watch every single tournament he plays in. And I know Lambo because he taught us all how to beat 13-12 hatch. Probably should have taught Impact how to do that so that we didn't have no regret in GSL. But you know what? He's still out there, and I watch and learn from all of his guys while I'll be in Code S next season too.
Well, that's a much longer answer than I was expecting. So, now a minute and a half in the game, I'm proud to introduce, in the top right side of the map, the blue Terran player, Team Liquid's uThermal.
There we go.
Winter attack! Best machine gun sound I've ever heard.
His opponent, spawning the lower left-hand corner in the red as the Zerg, our Lambo player. It's Lambo. There we go.
So for me, we actually get to see Lambo a little bit more. Obviously, we do a lot of the weekly cups and all that. uThermal actually up with the 3 racks to note, pretty standard thing for Terran to do nowadays. But I was asking you because for me, when I fell in love with Lambo, like uThermal's a lot more notable. He's got bigger wins. He's made it further in tournaments. But when Lambo was playing as Polt for IM Katowice a long time ago, he was taking games off Polt, and that blew me away because I'm like, who's this German kid that's like kicking Polt of all people's ass, right? So I know he's got like a history of making TVZ work, but the current meta being what it is, this annoying Rax Reaper opener in like every single matchup, we'll see how well he handles it.
Yeah, it's always kind of interesting to see whose style you go for with this Mass Reaper build. You've got guys like Bjorn, and then you're throwing your mines down top of the Zerglings when they surround your Reapers. And I think the #1 clip on Reddit right now is Bjorn doing just that. So that's the insanity of this build. The other way to do it is like the Maru style, where you Google how to play Mass Reaper like Bjorn, and then you build a bunch of Reapers, and then you're like, wait a second, now what do I do? And you lose them all up against the wall. So, I don't really know exactly what style uThermal is going to be going for here, but it certainly looks like he's doing pretty well so far, although he has exactly telegraphed what's going on here, so you'll see higher Queen production and a big swell at links with speed that should help Lambo out.
One of the big questions we had to note was like, was he going to go above 9 Reapers, right? These might be the last 3 coming out as he starts to transition, but
I don't think so. I think we might
dicey.
actually see quite a bit more. I noticed like in SSL, we've been seeing Bjorn stick on 13 Reapers as his cutoff point, so just getting a few more, but I feel like that's probably stylistic. There are still Reapers coming out here, though, so it does look like we're going up to at least a little bit of a higher number.
Yeah, I'm bringing up this number too because 9, 13, like all these numbers are very different from person to person, but there is like that standard cutoff most of the time. But uThermal as well as Optimus and many of these European players, they like their Reapers. Unfortunately, though, these are just not getting the job done, and their numbers have already been quelled pretty hard.
Indeed, that's what happens to numbers, man. They get quelled.
And counted.
Among other things, yes.
Like math?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they get mathed.
How many other things, Rapid? Name at least 5.
At least 5 of the things that happen in numbers. They get added, subtracted, multiplied,
No,
divided.
math covers all that. You can't say that. You can't just start. You can't.
Okay, words, Rifkin. Words. Words covers everything. There you go. Did you like that?
Nailed it.
No,
10
no,
out
no,
of
you
10.
can't say that.
Are
I
you a
already said
caster
words.
or
I already
are you
said
a
words,
caster or a
Rifkin.
carpenter?
You can't
Because
use
you
words
nailed it.
anymore. I already. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. All right, so there's Reapers on the map, also ridiculous. But they've been fended off for now. Such a hassle, Rifkin. God damn.
Well, I'm just really astonished he's insisted to follow up with after how well they were dealt with. The +1 Carapace is such a good counter too. That's on the way,
Yeah.
but maybe it's one of those he wouldn't expect me to do something so crazy moves because Lambo's not in position for this right now.
Yeah, so there's this one move that I've seen Beyond do where he'll make the first batch of Reapers, and then he'll go show them, be annoying, just walk around, kind of that paparazzi mode where you're just like, hey, I'm here and stuff, and then he'll pull back, and then he'll go really hard on Reapers and get up to, I think the highest number I've seen him with is like 33, and then he comes back at you after a while, and you're like, oh, the Reapers are gone. But no, they keep coming back, and if they just come back in such a high number, then it can be surprising.
He's gonna do what Gumiho's been doing with the Reapers.
Yeah.
I was wondering why the medevacs, but there's like no Marines, there's no Hellions really elevator around. This is gonna be so sick. For those who haven't been seeing it too, Gumiho both in Premier and like non-Premier events has been doing this cool change up, and you wouldn't think medevacs and Reapers would be necessary
really
for drop
counterintuitive.
combinations. Well, what's great about it is like the Reapers obviously can get in, but they have a hard time getting out sometimes, and that's where the escape vehicle of the medevac comes into play. I don't know if this is going to be up to par from what we've seen out of our Korean friends, but this is going to be really cool to see him try and execute this. He's going to be the first foreigner I think I've seen try and pull this off.
Yeah, it's actually really kind of interesting how isolated to Korea this has been, and everybody wants to make the memes about how much they practice and how good their control is, and I think specifically for Beyond, like you have to kind of give him that best in the world title. But this is going to be awesome because it's going to be a hyper mobile, and B, there's really not a whole lot other than Zerglings out here, so he's going to force the cancel and jump right into the main.
My god. He's got the Carapace upgrade, so this will be manageable, but the grenades are still going to be hitting for 10 a shot. And he's found himself a really nice corner to back into with his back against the spawning pool. Lambo can't engage this!
This is actually the dumbest... Okay, I'm... Somewhere Beyond is like sensing a disturbance in the forest, and then he just picks up and walks out. Like, you realize this right here is the...
I think he only lost one Reaper to that, by the way.
Let me check the units lost tab. It's a little bit more.
Well, because they're the ones that died earlier when he got caught.
Right. Yeah.
I think like that specific drop, only one died.
I agree with you. I think the big thing that people don't expect about adding the medevacs in here is that a lot of times you have to wait for the Reapers to pull back for them to regenerate. Well, now they actually just kind of regenerate in combat, which is an useful talent to have.
You know what? It's called combat drugs, but they don't work in combat.
Out of combat drugs. Now imagine if you could like stim Reapers. Now that would be
they're already on so many drugs, right? You like literally couldn't, I think. They probably just die.
I'm pretty sure you can do that in like a Vanguard or something, but in regular StarCraft 2, we haven't figured out the technology to put even more drugs in their system. Whoa, losing a couple of Reapers there does get those panic mines to retreat with, but
I actually love the concept of this Reaper drop more than the actual effectiveness of it so far to uThermal. Because of all the Terrans that we've seen in Europe over the last years, he has been one of the ones with the better just general micro. So I was expecting this to get away with so much more. I hope we get to see him try and pull this off again. It's a best of 5, right? We got plenty of games still coming. But I hope, well, this one hasn't been the scariest. I do want to see him do this more. I've really liked his control through it too. But of course, while all this has been going on, he's been getting his upgrades, he's been getting that macro going, and now he's marching down the map with a huge army. Oh god,
yeah,
that was actually bleeding out banelings to this. Any banelings going down to this is bad.
So what I love that uThermal does is he'll overextend with the Reapers because he knows he has massive medevac support, drop a bunch of like the deepest mines, the KD8 charges right in the middle of the army, and then just pick up and run away. And it's just so hard to deal with that because as a Zerg player, you're like, well, do I go in? Do I go out? Do I put my left leg in? Do I take that, all about or whatever?
Wow, I thought the Wood Mines were all going to go down there too. He managed to get one shot off barely, but without any baneling support, the Hydras are still tearing through this Terran army.
They're tearing through it.
Yes.
That's what's happening. Down. I figured it out. Yeah, but surprisingly enough, the resilience of this Bioforce does survive. There's a little bit of friendly fire on one of those mines that did take out at least the last few remaining Reapers, and there's no more on the way. Just 12 Marines at a time coming out here. And surprisingly enough, no combat shield yet, so we're kind of deep into the game. Right as I say that, it will complete, so glad that we finally got that up there.
That's a timing if I've ever seen one.
You know, Ripken, StarCraft is just not very realistic. You should have to go back to base or have a supply train that ships the shields out to each individual Marine.
I'm just saying, they like grow it from their arm. Like, what do they do? Just like flex out 10 extra health?
I mean, that's what I do, Ripken. I don't know about you. I mean, it's a pretty common build order where I come from.
It's getting swole in all kinds of new ways. There's so much gas in Lambo's army, it makes it incredibly deadly. But man, if those Widow Mines get those shots, if the Hydras don't have a good surround, things get bad quick. We also have a segmented fake drop to the north. This is so cool, because he did react. Hydras have been pulled, Banelings have been pulled. These three empty medevacs have completely mind-gamed Lambo.
uThermal. Oh, you...
Oh, he tries to pounce with it. He sacrifices them even. That's how committed it was, but he wasn't able to get the baits on the other side of the map. He's trying to remove the Banelings, but now Lambo can bring all those Hydras back home.
I love how 8 Banelings slam into that Marauder wall and it just doesn't do anything. So now splitting needs to burrow a couple of those mines in the back, but this is actually a really good way to bust through this. Lambo a little bit offended that he fell for that drop, and now he's going to send everything to push uThermal back.
Man, I gotta say, this was like credit to the mind games of uThermal. He's struggling to take those fights, but now he's off creep. Maybe it goes a little bit better. But between the Reaper drops, the medevac baits, I am thoroughly impressed with both players this game.
I think behind this, you really want to start a 4th base as long as you're committing to putting this much pressure up. But you're absolutely right, Rifkin, especially with the effectiveness of that sort of bait drop. I actually thought that uThermal would actually do a little bit better there, but as soon as Lambo figured out that drop was either fake or took it out, he's like, all right, well, now I get to, give it to you.
So Lambo's army, funny enough, like he's moving on to Hive Tech. He's getting past these Hydras and Banelings. But this is reminding me a lot of like a Protoss army, right? So much gas investment is what makes it so strong. If this had fallen apart, this could have snowballed and been crippled very quickly, and uThermal could have been the one who's just run away with the game. So it's really impressive too. Lambo's been able to hold on to this. He doesn't go too far off creep. He's been pretty conservative with his Baneling use. He's not clumping. He's always paying attention. And now he's gonna have the aided benefit of like not just Ultralisks but Infestors. I'm actually getting really worried for uThermal here.
So it's actually kind of odd that you mentioned that, Rifkin, because it's the Zerg player that is now teching up and getting off this Ling Bling style and going up to Ultras and Hive Tech, whereas the Terran player, let's go through what's in the production tab here. We've got Marines, Marauders, and Bio upgrades. So, I mean, 3-3 Bio is pretty good, but eventually you're going to need a little bit more than that. Okay, and the game ends, which surprises no one.
He saw Ultras, yeah. He didn't have Liberators, he didn't have tanks. Most of the Widow Mines have been picked off. There wasn't really like a late game hope for him. The tap out seemed really lame. I'm not going to argue that, but it actually made sense.
Okay. I mean, I feel like you should kind of see that coming ahead of time, especially with 3-3 about to finish there. I mean, you can hold on 3-3 with Bio against Ultras for like little bit, and then you maybe get ghosts up in time or something, but you're right.
On that note too, this is what made it really difficult, because if you are going to play like a strictly Bio style that late game, you're producing like 7 Marauders at a time. Like you're getting the anti-ultra units out. He wasn't able to do that because of the Hydras that led into it. So like there was just so many itsy bitsy but really cool little things that went into leading up to the very lamest tap out of that game. But man, so many cool things happened during that game. And I know we're paying a lot of attention to uThermal because hashtag Terran bias, but Lambo did so well to make himself like there was, despite all the Reapers, despite the fake drops and all these other things, there's almost no drone deaths to that game. That's crazy to me, especially with those Reapers that got to sit in the mineral line early on. You had the medevacs come in, keep them by the spawning pool forever. Like, there should have been huge economic damage, and there never was.
Yeah, especially with how cool the Reaper strat was, and you put them in medevacs, and it's like, oh, look at this new build I can do. Well, you didn't kill any drones with it, so it's like, well, I'm pretty sure every Zerg on the planet would trade all of their Zerglings away just to keep every drone safe for the entire game. So, I mean, that's kind of what happened. Good job fitting in the tech where he could find it, getting up to Hydras off the Ling Bling, and then defending with that. I have to remember to join my game lobbies here. I think I've missed a couple.
You've been too spoiled with the Korean
I'm so
casting.
terrible at that. It's absolutely my fault. So let me see. How do I... Wait.
Oh, what's worse is he doesn't even know how.
Well, no, it said the Zombie Grub was in game for a while, and I'm like, wait a second, I shouldn't be able to join when they're in game. All right, I'm in.
See, by the way, Rapid, do you have Twitch chat open right now, my friend?
I do.
Sleepy Cod says, BaseTradeTV, I don't know who this new caster guy is, but he's bloody funny, and we need to keep this one. So, A, it's a compliment, but B, for people who don't know Rapid, it's not so crazy now, is it?
You just like to say that people don't know me, Rifkin.
No, I love you, Rapid. I know you, but not everybody's gonna know you. A
Or
lot of
do
people
you know me? Do you know me? Do you really know me? You think you know someone, Rifkin?
Are you really three children inside of a trench coat? Have I been seeing?
Well, who
this whole
needs the
time?
trench coat anymore? All right. So let's go ahead and intro this so that then I can go on my minute-long rant, but I don't tell it Zombie Grub off the face of the planet. Our red Terran player, representing Team Liquid. Spawning is the Terran player in the bottom left-ish corner of the map, except on the right-hand side, it's uThermal. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. That's my intro. That's the best I got.
Wow, Zombie Grub falling behind with the spins here. Now she's the one dropping the ball. Top left, we got the man in blue. The German Zerg, and he's rocking Zanster with some sunglasses. I'm proud to introduce Lambo.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm just basically the DreamHack production here, except that Zombie Grub also zooms in on them. Except we can't zoom through the hatchery and then into their player cam, so whatever.
We're simple folk out here in BaseTradeTV.
When you put it that way, it's
We don't
hard
got
to
them
argue.
shitty slicker production.
You remind me of every reason I moved out of Texas, Rifkin.
I would hope not. That's such a bad accent. Oh my god.
Well,
That was closer to my Canadian clam than it was like a Texan accent, I think.
I actually just realized I'm wearing a Canadian shirt right now.
Nice.
We were meant to co-cast
it.
together. It's fate, Rifkin.
I dig it. Well, guys, actually, I'm going to abuse this small window of opportunity. First off, it is my birthday. Woo! And we're going to be celebrating it a lot more during the Corsair Cup than we are here for the Korean cast, or rather the Korean time zone cast of these awesome European players. But I do have a shirt out of Matcherino, and I'll tell you what, if you guys really want to get me a birthday present today, either sub to the channel or go buy that damn shirt. One of the two would make me a very happy camper. Sorry, this is because it was asked in chat earlier. I'm just responding. But also, you see it to sell out. So, you know, two birds, one stone. Two pigeons knocked out of the sky. No
I
messages
love
for anybody.
2 birds, 1 stone. It's even better than single 2 birds, 1 stone, Rifkin.
A bird in the stone is 2 in the bush or some shit like that.
Because that's where you put your birds, right? Just in the bushes. You take your birds, you just shove them right in the bushes. That's how you make analogies, Rifkin.
Nice. All right, so by the way, 3 Reapers racks again. In the days of old, this was so cheesy. You would just like brandish players as like, oh, they got no skill, but really, this has become that opener. And whether it's the Medivacs again, which I've got to be honest with you, I got my fingers crossed for, or whether it's just the Reapers, either way, this map is so much better for it than the last one. This base, the base in the back, there's a million ways to jump up and around here. So this is going to be really frustrating for Lambo to have to cover all of his bases, literally.
Literally. Yes.
Literally.
So, I mean, Blood Boil, this is just like a slightly larger version of Steps of War or something. I feel like the rush distance here is just ludicrously small. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. And in fact, you know, many maps actually get changed to afford... I'm not sure why... Yeah, there we go. Dropping the mine on the high ground. That's the way you got to do it. Great Reaper control here by uThermal, and this time he is actually getting a lot of damage done. There's also no third hatchery for Lambo, so it makes it easier to just like target your aggression right in there. There's still more Reapers on the way, and the rush distance is pretty small. They're going to heal up, and yeah, like I said, a lot of maps get changed so that there's only one point where Reapers can jump up, just to limit how abusive this can be. But I don't know, uThermal's just playing this really well, being really annoying, but not overextending when he goes in to harass.
This is him going from the backside now. It's not necessarily a better angle of attack, but as long as the queens are out of position and he gets those free shots, barely survives with that 9 health queen.
He's uThermal's not dropping mines on the high ground when he jumps off the cliff. That's kind of confusing. I mean, that's what I always like to do. Every time I jump off a cliff, I just leave a mine behind me, and that way I just kill all the drones. I'm not sure why he's not employing the same strategy, but at least the Reapers aren't.
You're talking in game and not literally.
Oh yeah, I should have clarified that, Ripken. That was my bad. I'm not a very good caster. I'm sorry.
Your pastime is finding all the tallest cliffs in Korea and just going for a quick hop.
I'm just a really big fan of base jumping, BaseTradeTV jumping.
Nice, I'll take it. I accept it. The face you made afterwards, though, I will never accept. Oh my god. Be glad we don't have caster cams, guys.
That's something get terrible. So I know some production crews actually do caster cams, and then they'll put the caster cams in highlight reels and stuff. I would be terrified if anybody at any point got to see what I look like while I was casting. That would not be a good thing.
Well, being terrified is also the feeling of having links surround you through your exit strategy. Pretty bad for uThermal there.
I mean, he killed every Zergling, so yeah. I mean, it sucks to lose Reapers, and that really does deplete your critical mass. But he's still going on the Reapers. He's going to be doing that medevac strat. He's getting double engineering bays up behind this, as well as expanding again. So I mean, at least he's looking forward a little bit more, not just sticking on these Reapers. But with the way Blood Boil works, you can get that rear hatchery or rear base up. I mean, Lambo's going to be able to saturate a third base behind this, and there's no more Reaper pressure on. So I don't know, this might be what lets him get a little bit out of control.
By the way, I give some love to Don Fishy for that Twitch Prime sub, and Higgins for 26 and happy birthday. Thank you kindly, both you guys.
Higgins underscore, way better than the actual Higgins, who probably just camping on that name and has 0 subscribers.
I know, it's like all the games, I don't even try taking Rifkin anymore. I just try taking Rifkin 69 or something, because just Rifkin is taken everywhere.
It's a pretty popular name. I mean, I always try to take Rifkin, but it's always taken too.
So
and I finally found the culprit.
Well, no, we haven't, because I have the same problem. I can't use it either.
You always try to take rapid casting on everything, and it's always taken?
Yeah, that's the first name I go for. When I was playing Ragnarok Online, I was like, rapid casting. I even capitalized rapid. So the medevacs with the Reapers come in, but uThermal is actually facing something he didn't have to deal with last time. Like, there's a lot of queens, but he's boxed in now between queens and a spore crawler. He actually has to kill that spore crawler for an easy way out of this base. With those bandits coming in, the focus fire's good.
Oh, that focus fire looks so good. He's not actually picking up the Reapers before they die, though. I think that would probably be a good idea, but I mean, he does kill off all the Zerglings, kills off the Queen, will finally take down that Spore Crawler, and forces an evacuation of all the drones from the third base.
Yeah, I think the fear of picking up some of these Reapers, too, is like, you really can't put too much to this. His macro is so much more important than the damage this Reaper squad can get done. Back at home, his production is doing very well.
So the hash rate's down to about half health, and yeah, uThermal's macroing back at home, but he's also microing in this base at the same time. This time he's going to get in between the mineral line, and the healing on these Reapers is just absolutely insane. They just last forever, and they're going to take down so many Zerglings. The worker's starting to fall, and he's even going to pick them up and drop them back behind.
So one of the biggest assets for Lambo here that's helping him minimize damage is, of course, those Carapace upgrades. I'm glad he went for those quickly again. At least he'd be having a much more difficult time, but regardless of those upgrades, his drone count, not so high. He hasn't lost a lot of workers, but he hasn't been able to build them. And this is why I was complimenting uThermal's 3-base macro behind it. He's up at an awesome amount of SCVs. He's got mules to boot, and he's pushing with stim finished, and at least one, excuse me, as the armor upgrades just start up. A sad way for that medevac to die. It's a very disappointing way for that.
It just hits the boost, it hits the nitrous, it's out of there.
It kind of looked like it died because it hit the side of the screen, like it hit an invisible wall and just crashed.
Just goes right into the edge. Oh my god, that's funny. Alright, so now we have to find out whether or not all these Marines can take this hatchery in time. It looks like they're dying, but they're focusing the Zerglings in time. They'll take out every single Zergling. Now there's a bunch of banelings rolling in here, so we'll see if the focus fire is good enough. And it looks like it is. uThermal will definitely pull a page out of Beyond's book as he takes out every single baneling. Almost every single baneling.
They don't call him rapid casting for nothing.
Hey man, I'm just trying to give the people what they want. That's Les Rifkin talking.
Ooh.
Happy birthday!
GG. uThermal manages
Damn!
to take that second game, tying it up now 1-1.
His play that game was almost as good as our casting, Rifkin.
Well,
Almost.
one of them, maybe. Super shots fired. Even before people think we're actually fighting. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, guys. When we get back, we'll get to game number 3. Tied up 1-1 now in the series. I'm very excited to see who takes this third game. Hey, guys, welcome back. Thanks for watching that break. We're going to be getting to game number 3 on Odyssey. Just a small delay there. Should have probably already been a game, but it's all
Hey,
good.
okay, I joined the game eventually, Rifkin. God,
Rapid.
everybody's a critic.
You talk, and all I hear is... I don't know if we have cameras on for that.
Every day we stray further from his light. That's all I gotta say.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, things have been tied up 1-1. We've seen really cool tactics out of both players, but I've been particularly enjoying this guy here in the bottom right, the blue Terran, uThermal.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, his opponent. Hold on, I have to put my observer right there. In the Zerg pieces, as our red upper left-hand corner player is Lambo. It gets better every time. I'm still trying to figure out what that little logo. Oh, that's what
That's
is it?
Xanster with sunglasses. I said
No,
that
no,
last
no,
game.
no, no. The one on the ground. The Hellion with the.
Oh, that's the Infestor from Carbot.
Oh, that's okay. All right. See,
He's also going. The Zombie Grub textualized it. Thank you for the subtitles. Zombie Grub now subtitling the cast.
There we go.
Hang on, I got it.
Perfect. This is the sound of
Here, go back to the Infestor. Wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be.
That's the sound of Rifkin blowing up a balloon and or walking 10 feet.
There you go. All right, so it's to be expected. I think on every map we're gonna see the 3x Reaper. There's some questions with like maps like Proxima and otherwise. I don't actually know the map veto order, so maybe we won't even see it. But it's pretty safe to say a lot of these games we're gonna watch, you're gonna see uThermal open this way. And well, I think for years we're just used to this game being decided on whether the Reapers here and now are effective. It's so cool that with no buffs or changes to anything that affects the early game, like in the last however long, somehow Medivacs managed to find a way to change this up and actually change the way this gets played entirely.
Yeah, people don't kind of get this. A lot of times you'll see people saying, well, this is what's wrong with this matchup. We need to change this thing. And I feel like, especially since I've been getting ready for Brood War Remastered and playing a lot of Brood War, like that's a game that like has not been changed. So you figure out, like, once you put the massive intelligence, like thousands of humans towards fixing a problem or a build, like you can actually just see the wackiest stuff start to happen, like Reapers and Medivacs or Mass Reaper coming back again, or even innovations like this.
Every single time we see a balance change, though, you see the meta play accordingly, right? Like, Hydras get 10 health, so now everyone has to rely on Storms a lot more in PvZ, blah, blah, blah. Thors get more armor. You see exactly how that affects the TvZ dynamic. It's just so crazy because I can't even actually remember the last time no buff changed the way the game played so dynamically as these Medivacs. Like, and I don't know if Gumiho was the first, but he was the first big name I saw do it, and it's just so cool to see it's already trickled down, and we got uThermal trying to pick up that strategy, that play style.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely picking up some play styles. I feel like this is, something that's popularized over in Korea, but he's putting his own EU spin on it, and that just means he types XD in chat when he kills your Zergling. So he's continuing to get better micro than we saw in game number 1, being annoying, many more Reapers coming out as he's looking at getting up his natural behind a wall. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've seen the exact same thing happen every single game, but this is on Odyssey, so there's a couple more places that you can jump up and down, or a couple less places that you can jump up and down.
Yeah, exactly. So he cuts off the one reinforced or the exit strategy. That was really cool with the links. But most importantly, Lambo kept those queens alive. This was something where he was actually in danger of losing all 3 queens.
Yes.
Yes. One down so fun, but
I concur.
This is a big part of like him making more right now, because you have to also consider, well, uThermal maybe does medevacs again. Maybe he swaps it up and plays mech or something weird. There's always that fear that maybe a Banshee even comes out of nowhere. You don't know that there hasn't been a proxy. This Overlord is scouting the main, and it's the first scout he's getting on the main to confirm like what the timing of the factory follow-up is. Was there a third CC for greed? Like, there's a lot of ways that Lambo like should be so scared right now because he doesn't know exactly what's going on.
But he does have these Zerglings out in the middle of the map. Whoa! Tries to pull them back and runs right into mines. That's how you can tell you're just not watching your Zerglings for that 1 second. So uThermal's really going to mitigate the power of this counterattack, and that's what you're supposed to do as Zerg. Sue's been doing this a lot lately, where you get a bunch of speedlings, you run them out into the map, and you just leave them there. And the Terran player doesn't know if you're going to counterattack or try to surround his Reapers, so he has to play a little bit more scared. Now he doesn't.
Grenades are a little bit messy, to say the least. Drones also didn't go back to mining, which is because he had tried to pull them for the Reapers. If you do grenade them while they're mining, they know to go back, but not if you pull them for some damage. So getting a little bit dicey in the back of the base, but looks like that's going to be it for this attack.
And unfortunately, uThermal's still pooling Reapers back at home. I say unfortunately because, like, if you lose your main ball of Reapers, I mean, you can go back in and build Reapers. This is something that Maru's tried a couple of times. It's just never as effective, because what you're supposed to do is build that ball of Reapers up over time. If you lose it, well, it's like trying to blow up a balloon with only 1 lung.
Or very small 2 lungs.
I've got a big body and little lungs.
You're a bitch, Minnie.
Hey, you said it. I didn't say it.
Okay, so regardless of like how those first Reapers went, the point is he's still gonna have that 12 or 11. So he's got full medevacs, or not full medevacs, but mostly full medevacs to do some damage with. As long as there's the exit strategy and a couple of grenades, he's got a hope and a dream, and he can maybe make something happen. But the Carapace is finishing up. The Baneliness is on the way. Like, Lambo really has not been too swayed by the opener here.
No, he hasn't. So this is looking a lot more like game number 1.
Uh-oh.
He's also...
The third. The links don't quite run in yet. There we go. They'll find that.
Could... Oh,
But
yeah.
he can't afford to look at this. He needs to be on the other side of the map. All the attention needs to be on these Reapers. Spore Crawler's down. Queens are up. Carapace has been researched. This is going to be a tough fight for him. And that medevac already gets picked off. Lambo is handling this like a champ.
Yeah, he absolutely knows everything that's coming his way. Wow, that was... Holy cow. Yeah, no, that was a really good reaction by Lambo to game number 2. He defends it in game number 1 with a very advanced kind of strategy. And what?
I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off. Have you seen this tweet out of Nerdgeo? I fucking love this. I'm retweeting it even. It's so good.
Alright. I'm clearly a little bit behind on my Twitter game here.
He's got comments on the TVZ matchup, is what it is. And it's pretty accurate to what we're witnessing right now.
Oh, I love the brain memes.
You know what? That's the one meme I never like got on board with. I was like not like I didn't invest in the brain meme stocks. I'm a little bit behind on it, but this is a perfect one. This is a pretty good one.
As someone who always has like, you know, the brain at the end of the meme, I can really just appreciate, you know, the progression of how exactly you ascend to that level of elevated thought. And I feel like
kill yourself.
Artur has
Stop.
done the same thing. Just it's nice to see fellow incredibly intelligent people. Posts like this belong on /r/I am very smart.
Actually, I love some of like the super trolly Reddit stuff like that, like the Ask Shitty Science and stuff like that. Those are like my favorite subreddits. But okay, looks like we're ready to go. It's going to be Abyssal Reef, a very normal map, one of the oldest maps we have in the map pool. It's underwater, so there's a lot of cool effects, and uThermal's on his last life. We've actually, it's funny that Nerdgeo the one who makes this tweet, because uThermal and Nerdgeo also have like a pretty awesome, at least BaseTradeTV history rivalry. I don't actually know how it is outside of our channel, but I was really hoping and praying we were going to see uThermal take the series, nothing against Lambo, and then the sickest finals, TVZ. But at this rate, if he can pull it off, one more victory in the top left, it could be a ZvZ finish. It is the red Zerg player, Lambo.
No sound effects that time. I decided to mix it up a little bit. Just like his opponent will have to mix it up if he wants to advance to our final game of the series. It's our blue Terran player, uThermal.
That was a fangirl. She was farting for him, though. That didn't sound as good as I was hoping it would, to be honest with you. Balloon sound effects are not my forte.
In Rifkin's perfect alternate universe, that's how people cheer for him as he wins the GSL finals.
Yeah, actually, I'd be okay with that.
Just one thunderous, high-pitched... Okay, all right. Well.
Actually, Zyber and I were talking this. Like, if I ever became a pro gamer, dude, my name, I would make it, what's his name? It'd be so fun to listen to people cast you with your professional names, like, top of the game. As what's his name?
Fear Dragon had a great one when we were thinking of a new name for Neve. It was like, upper left? So you have to say, you know, upper left in the bottom right corner.
I feel like that would only... That's got, like, minimal troll returns, though, right? Because you'd only really get that like, full effect in, like, the intros.
I mean, Fear Dragon came out... No, I'm just kidding. It was actually pretty
No,
funny.
he did. You're absolutely right.
99% useless memes.
99% useless ideas. Actually, I'm really excited because we haven't had a lot of people actually. There were some people trying to stir the pot. And they're like, "Oh, aren't you and Zombie?" I'm like, "Man, you didn't cast for Valencia, blah blah." And I think it's like a little bit of it is it'd be cool if we got to cast a premier event, but also Fear Dragon is a representation of something much more, and it's like the first time they brought in new blood to the caster lineup for a while. So good, bad, awful, amazing. I'm excited just to see how that rounds out because they've been stuck in the quote unquote old boys club mode for a while. So 99% useless guy might be like 100% useful guy when it comes to like changing things up.
I was distracted. I was watching the game. Sorry, Rifkin. I'm not good at this talking.
Were you?
thing.
What happened, Rapid? What happened in game?
I mean, he built some Reapers. He built some barracks. Then he built Reapers out of the barracks. Then he put the Reapers in his opponent's space and shot other things with them. Now he's putting more Reapers in his opponent's space and he's continuing to shoot things with them while running around and controlling his units.
Nice. Well, the nice thing about Abyssal 2, on top of the fact that it's the standard map we see all the time, it's also one that I think if uThermal's going to play the way he did in, was it Game 2 he won? We might see him get away with some extra better macro behind it. Like, I love the idea of the Reapers. I love the idea of the cheese, and I love the idea that uThermal's got great control, but he's also a really good macro player, so I don't want to see him, like, give up what I love watching best out of him to try and make something like Reapers work too much, you know?
So I wanted to see him go for like a Expo first build. You just get the command center out of nowhere. Your opponent's building a bunch of Zerglings for.
But then you can't get Reapers.
Yeah. Well, clearly that was the flaw with my plan, Rifkin. I just didn't factor in getting a ton of Reapers again. I mean, Reapers are good units, obviously. Otherwise, you know, uThermal wouldn't build them. But
it's like you make your monthly budget up, but you forgot to include your rent. It's like, damn it, that's right. Reapers are really important to me.
Indeed, they are. I feel like also though, expanding and other units teching out of Reapers might also be a good strategy. I think that's finally what we're starting to see Lambo react to. Is that I mean, if all you ever only have to defend against is Reapers, you just kind of build stuff that kills Reapers. You practice against Reapers, and you know all of a sudden you mix in your Terran opponent mixes in like a siege tank. You're like, whoa. What do I do now? I've only had to fight Reapers for the last 10 games.
No, I'm glad you bring that up because this was actually a map where if you're going to do like a siege tank push, you've actually got that usually abusive spot outside of Lambo's natural. But Lambo's actually expanded this way to his third, and I love this. I've not seen any other Zerg player really do this. Usually it's the left base or the middle base. Yeah. But this would cover your ass against specifically that siege tank push.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going to see that for a while. In fact, what's coming up now is the starport and the reactor, which will allow those medevacs to start flowing out. We're just going to see... I feel like the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But
well, it
for
is kind
uThermal...
broke, he's down.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he's referring to, you know, how broken the Reapers seem when they are controlled adequately, like we saw in game number 2. But I think Lambo's just got his number, and I don't think that more of the same. I mean, I feel like that's the definition of insanity.
No, let's back this up a second. How can we go with the saying if it's not broken, don't fix it, if we're claiming his Reaper control is so broken?
Well, he's not fixing it. He still just lost all of his Reapers.
No, but you're right. This is problems because last time we saw the medevacs, they're kind of weak. I didn't know if the difference of like those extra 3 Reapers, because those weren't full medevacs, right? That came in last game. If that was gonna be enough, and maybe that was why the damage was too low. Maybe that's why the Reapers got picked off. But I do want to note, regardless of this drop, he does have double engineering base coming on the way, so it does look like there's that plan to play more than just like all in. 3rd CC's finishing up very shortly too.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy about the 3rd CC timing. I feel like even if he just sits in his main and makes SCVs out of it, it's an investment in the future. And I feel like some of the games that uThermal's lost today, it's been a little bit of a lack of future sight, looking ahead, forward thinking. There we go.
Are you just naming Pokemon moves now? Like, looking
in the direction that is not backwards. Rifkin, I'm working as hard as I can here. I only have one brain. That's my favorite thing to say. Well, everybody has one brain. I don't know. Maybe this guy isn't as smart as I thought he was. Okay, so Reaper's back in the main. They're killing off all the banelings that are morphing, so no banelings for you, at least not just yet. The Queens will come in and push the medevacs back out. That means that they will have to find another way into the main. Or just the same way again. I don't know.
So even though the dynamic of the Reapers, and more importantly the grenades to these drops, are much different than if this was Marines and Widow Mines, for example, the same, I think, general principles here. You kill the medevacs and you kill the drop. And I love that Lambo has been kind of, taking some damage, but he's been getting there with the Queens. He's been pushing back the medevacs. Last game, killing them straight up end of the game. This time around, he's damaged them, so it's not over. But there's not a lot of power for uThermal if either of those go down. SCVs get transferred over to the 3rd base too, so some nice saturation for some money.
I know I meant yes in the agreeing kind of way, but yeah, if he loses either one of those, then he's just in a lot of trouble. I love the Overseer being morphed right there. That says, hey, if you randomly switch into anything like cloaked, I'm going to be able to take that out. It's also better for being more mobile and moving around and trying to deal with these Reapers. But whoa, that hatch actually died. Okay, I don't feel like I should be seeing that, but I did.
We witnessed it with our eyes. And contrary to Jaden Smith, our eyes are real.
Look with your special eyes, Rifkin.
That actually just sounds offensive, man. Look, because I got glasses? Is that what this is about?
Look with all 4 of your special eyes.
Alright,
well, just call 1-800-CONTACTS. Who didn't pay me for saying that? So more Reapers in the main this time. Where are the Zerg forces that are going to deal with this? Okay, finally, waiting for these banelings to come up, but he's just going to pick up the Reapers and run away, or just mine these banelings to death.
Oh, that was so sick. The banelings have very low health, like absurdly low health on 30, less than a Zergling even. So it only does take like 3 perfectly timed grenades to actually blow up a baneling, throw in an auto attack, boom, Bob's your uncle, it's even better. So I love the idea that these pick up, like he avoids the baneling hits entirely, but almost kills the banelings on his way out. Like that was so cool. Lambo set up for a counterattack. Without banelings over here, he can't break that wall. This is so weird. Just watching the game progress from the way Lambo took his 3rd where he did, though. This looks so different. The creep sprint is so good for this. Oh, we get a bit low, but transfuses.
Good job focusing down the medevacs to limit the mobility of those Reapers. I mean, they're still going to be mobile on the ground, but they won't be able to just pick up and boost their way back into your main. So finally, I feel like some critical mass is being reached here for Lambo, but this is a big move out by uThermal.
Yeah, he might get caught in the backside with this because of this attack posed over here. But keep in mind, Lambo's already down in supply, and that's another 15 or something supply that's on the other side of the map, not at home defending. So while there's going to be a ton of banelings, and that's great, 1 or 2 Widowmine shots could spell doom and destruction for Lambo.
Here we go, rolling through the barrier. A couple of banelings do get into humanity.
What?
But they don't.
He sees all the SCVs. There's a small miscontrol to Lambo because he was caught off guard by the leftmost attack. It cost him all the SCVs. All he killed was depots and a couple of Marines. Every single SCV got out of there.
Wow. Yeah, that's not how that's supposed to work, Rifkin. I figured it out.
That was going to be a great equalizing force to like hurt and punish uThermal for pushing. Now uThermal can push. There's no real threat back at home, and Lambo has to focus all of his attention on trying to get a surround. He comes in from the backside, but gets cut off by the reinforcements in the middle of the map, so he's driven back to this fourth.
Oh my god, so this is actually a great spot for uThermal to be in. He was at risk of getting countered, but now it's up to Lambo to defend against his main push. He's going to roll all the banelings in. There's not that great a splitting, but there's not just enough in front of the banelings to allow them to connect in the end. Zergling's running forward, but the Terran force remains.
GG. Oh, man. So tasty at the end of that game. I was expecting to start seeing things like grenades flying and the banelings consequently going through the sky, but even without that, like, he just had the numbers, and that was, for me, going back to a moment where I'm saying in game 2, I loved the macro game out of uThermal. Like, the early game, the medevac, the Reapers, it's cool to watch, it's flashier, but that's 2 games now where supply dominates, control's good, and Lambo can pull out a uThermal can pull out a victory because of it. So I'm hoping as we go to game 5 here, first we're going to go to a small 2-minute break, guys, but as we go to game number 5, I'm hoping our Terran player can hold it together, because I think a TVZ finals would be the sickest, but it does need to be said that if Lambo can win this, I think it's still going to be a good finals either way. But a small break, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, we're getting back into it. Game number 5 loads up on Proxima Station, and I think it was two games ago I had mentioned, like, would we see this map? Because this is the one map in the entire map pool that you don't really want to use Reapers on. It's the only single map that has one jump up point, and it's a small jump up point. So as we go to game number 5, maybe we'll see some variation, or maybe this guy sticks to his guns. Either way, in the bottom left, he's playing for Team Liquid. It's uThermal.
Indeed, it is. The little hand lightning bolt emblem. I think the Carbot emblem is pretty good too. And the guy using that is our Blue Zerg player, Lambo.
Also, yo, Zombie Grub, I know you're on the Observer Cam, and shout out to Zombie Grub, because she's been doing the observing, despite not casting the series. I learned this recently. Did you know on the enter thing, you can actually click to see all the emotes now? You don't have to, like, memorize them? This blew me away. Yeah, when you hit enter to chat, you can actually see all the emotes to click them. You don't have to actually memorize them. I
figured it out.
It's a game changer. I can now BM my opponent by putting Carbot worm penises and poops all over the place. Although I do like that soft serve chocolate ice cream with eyes you just posted.
Yeah, no, I'm actually a really big fan of chocolate ice cream. I enjoy posting it in my chats whenever possible. And I think it really complements your eyes, Rifkin.
I do have brown eyes, so thank you, Rapid, I suppose.
Well, that's probably what they're made of.
So, my eyes are made of eyes? Like, what?
It's eyeception, man. It's ice cream.
Okay, so it is gonna be 3 racks Reaper out of uThermal once again. If this isn't crazy, I don't know what is. What is so much better for Lambo on this map, though, is not just that, okay, your main has the one jump up point. There's also only one way to enter into the natural, at least before you take down rocks. So we've actually seen a spine crawler defense here ward off Reapers, where most maps you can't actually get away with it on. And for all those who don't know out there, spine crawlers incredibly difficult for Reapers to deal with. They come built in with armor, so they don't go down that easily.
Especially to Reapers, and in fact, if you can find a position to burrow them near the jump-up point that a lot of Reapers go in and out of, then you can get them in a way that it'll either block some of the area that Reapers can jump up, or as soon as they jump up, they're taking Spinecrawler hits, so it's really a great way to stop that, but you do have to commit a drone to it. Most Zerg players don't want to do that. Here we see the first Reaper at work.
There's no jump up points here. It's all straight through the front door. So it makes it even better and easier to defend. Queens will be down this ramp too. One thing I'm going to be noting, whether this happens or not, is whether Lambo gets creep spread between the main and the natural. However, one of the biggest concerns I'm going to have for his defense here is it's slow to reinforce. Queens come down that ramp very, very slowly. But he's pushing this off.
Yes. He is. 2 queens at the front, pretty standard defense here, but allowing these Reapers to get in behind the mineral lines, probably not a game-winning move there. It's going to let them give them free access to the main, and there's no queens there, so you can really... Okay, one just spawned. All right, that's unfair.
This is where that creep spread really hurts, though, or lack thereof. Those 3 queens of the natural are gonna have a hell of a time getting to the main. A quick pause out of Lambo, and hopefully.
I don't think it's me. I have the
I might
power
just-
of Korean internet on my side.
I think it might just be Lambo.
Oh.
But okay, while we're at the pause, like to go to the front of Lambo's base for a second. I don't know if we can observe her cam on pause or not, but I love the position of Spine Crawler. That will reach anywhere, so the Reapers can't get by for free.
Mm-hmm.
This won't solve the problem, though, of the follow-up. Like, it's really cool that this stops 3x Reaper in terms of just the Reapers. But with Medivacs being what they are, this will be in the wrong spot every time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think of spore crawlers like the end-all be-all defense, but you can still chuck mines at them and whittle them down eventually. Queen Transfuse is a great way to sort of limit that. But I don't know. I think the defense is much better this time for Lambo. So I don't know if this is quite the tree uThermal wants to bark up.
Would you really make that joke?
That's what you do with trees, man. Do you really just not see trees and bark up them? I mean, sounds like a game-losing opportunity. Decision-making, choices, those things.
Leave it alone, Rapid. Leave it alone. This pun game, it's not your shtick. It's mine.
Neither of these players are playing for Root Gaming, so I don't really have a whole lot to go off of there.
Okay, well, of course, we are going to still be focusing on the Reapers, as cool as it was, but it is kind of also worth noting how quickly uThermal has transferred out of it this game. I almost, in a small way, want to chalk this up to like mind game tactics. 4 games in a best of 5. You've gone massive amounts of Reapers with Medivac support. Game 5, change it up. And the worst part for Lambo is he's not scouting this. His overlords are chilling outside the base, but he's seen the tech lab, I guess. Oh, he's not spinning. Never mind. Okay, so he has seen the stim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing about this for uThermal is so you're trying to switch it up a little bit. You've done this at exactly the same time as your opponent is kind of abusing that. You see nothing but drones in the production tab. You've got double Evo chamber on the way, +1/+1 on the way, and this is just really hardcore macro mode for Lambo. And if uThermal had kept putting on that Reaper pressure, there's no way that this would be able to at least quite as easily be executed. So I mean, maybe this is the game you wanted to keep that pressure up, because now this Zerg is just going to slingshot into the future.
Well, I was just thinking this actually reminds me like a lot of what old TVZ looked like when it was normal. You know, Zerg with the faster upgrades, turn a little bit later to the party, but then drops, try and make up for that. Like this actually is not a TVZ we've seen for God knows how long now, especially because of all the Korean stuff we cover, where it's 3-Rax Reaper all the time, always, and never any variation of it. So this will be really cool to watch. This is a treat, to say the least.
Back in my day, when Zerg was simpler, we built Zerglings and Mainlings and tried to micro Marines around. I will say that even though a lot of people talk about back in Wings of Liberty and 3-Raxing and all kinds of cool stuff back then, imagine playing Terran without Reapers. Like, if we just went back to Wings of Liberty, I'm pretty sure uThermal would just he'd go 3-Rax and then not make Marines because he's still trying to figure out how Reapers get produced. I don't know. But here we have them loaded up in the Medivacs. They're trying to make their drop attempt back into the natural, but I don't think they're really going to have much success here.
I really don't know if Lambo's expecting Reapers or if he's expecting Marines, but these have stim. This is going to be a really good position for him if he was fully unloaded, but he's not, so he's quickly thwarted. Drones go back to mining as well. This creep spread to the south, though, while it did get a little bit poked at, immediately replaced, so not a problem.
I mean, to be fair, this is kind of some Scarlet-esque creep spread. It is going way out there, and several of the key creep tumors, say that 5 times fast, have survived, so it allows him to continue to propagate across the map.
What about the Queen's Key creep tumor?
Queen's Key creep tumor.
You can't even say it once, man.
I'm still working on it, man. I'm not good at this talking thing. That was not a prerequisite for the job.
If you can't talk well, talk fast. Rapid casting.
Speak well.
Got him. Okay, the creep has been a weird contest here on the right side. Almost a pissing contest. Like, uThermal's actually staying around to make sure it doesn't keep going down. Lambo keeps insisting on spreading it. It's just it's the weirdest, non-important standoff. And unfortunately for uThermal, like, while you have this really cool timing of these really quick medevacs, the Marines coming in when they did, he just wasn't able to get any drone damage done. So he's taking the damage elsewhere. And this is better than nothing. But my concern is, okay, actually, he caught up in upgrades. I didn't actually notice that till now. Because uThermal was going to be the one later to upgrades. +2's already on the way. We see that transition for possibly Hydras. But the Infestation Pit's got me really intrigued here.
Yeah, trying to micro up against back up against the wall. uThermal is going to
he's gonna feel the
mine.
He's gonna feel the sting of playing Terran is what he's gonna do. Oh god. Wow. But going back to the point of the Infestation for a moment, this drop tries to snipe the Evolution Chamber. I wasn't sure if this was going to be him just going to a really fast hive and getting greedy and then getting caught with that Ultra transition or not. But having cleaned up that army in the middle and thwarting those 2 drops, he would certainly be afforded the opportunity now if he wanted to. Yeah, hive starts up pretty quick.
Yeah, hive going on the way. This is just really what it looks like to have an unharassed Zerg player. I mean, he did feel those Reapers initially, but great defense, invested in that Spine Crawler, and has just gotten way out in front of uThermal. I think we might just see a repeat of, what was it, game number 1, where uThermal just gets out-teched, Ultras come out, out-teched. Ultras come out, and there's nothing to deal with them.
I love the idea where there's like this super meta game level of BM where you as a Zerg player know you're so far ahead of your opponent, you text them and just start BMing them like over text instead of in game.
He's gonna get out-texted.
Dude, Koreans use Kaku Talk all the time. Maybe that's why they're so polite in game, because they're so busy shit-talking each other on their phones.
No, that's when you're going for the cheese and you text your opponent.
Yeah, look out.
He looks down at his phone, he looks up and his army's gone.
Well, the real question is, why do they allow phones in the booths if that's the case? Couldn't they use vibrations to tell what's going on in the audience?
I mean, I'm sure both of our players are playing from booths here. It's just to keep it professional, you know.
Well, nobody's playing from booths on, I'll tell you that much, because they're not from Korea. Dun, dun.
Not even a little bit. You couldn't even attach that joke to a fidget spinner, Rifkin.
With enough tape, I could. Ultra Cavern on the way, but what's problematic is the Ultras are really not even the scariest thing here. Lambo has a fantastic layer tech army. He's responded and preemptively positioned himself to deal with these drops. Like, uThermal needs to get something done, otherwise he's going to be slamming his head against well-upgraded Ultras. That's going to be level 3 Carapace with chitinous plating.
Mineral field.
Damn, if you just look at the upgrades, you can see really the effects of what a weak early game uThermal was able to have.
That's a sad way to summarize it, but you're absolutely right. I think the other part too is like if this is something where he knew this was coming earlier, we would have seen that quick swap to more tech labs, more Marauders would have been emphasized, because those can square off against the Hydras too. But my fear is that he won't have enough armor-killing units, and he's been so focused, almost tunnel-visioned on the Hydras and Banelings, not realizing Hive tech's in play. In fact, has he scouted? He hasn't scouted the main since Lair. He hasn't even seen the Lair, much less the Hive.
Oh my
so he has
God.
no idea about this Ultralisk Cavern, no idea about anything that's coming down. This is going to be such a bad catch-up moment. GG.
He scans the Hive, insta GG's. Wow. And that'll be Lambo taking the 3-2 over Liquid's uThermal.
It's really awesome and impressive for Lambo, who, of the two, is not the guy I would expect to go through to the finals. I mean, I expected this series to be a 3-2 one way or the other. I'm just really, I guess, sad it wasn't uThermal because I'm a big Terran fan, but happy for Lambo because I am a big Lambo fan.
I was a big fan of Lambo's before he actually named himself that, just because I like cool cars. So now he's going to be zooming on to the grand finals, and really actually excited because it is a best of 7. I don't get to cast too many bests of 7s, so plenty of games to find out who the true winner of our EU versus NA show match is.
Well, it's the fans, obviously. But hey, real quick, guys, before I disappear, because I'm actually taking off at this point. I'm going to go rest up so we can do the Corsair Cup a little bit later. So it's going to be a combination of, I think, Zeph and Rapid and Zombie Grub. I don't know in what order. Maybe they'll just straight up try-cast it. But I would like to thank you guys for having me for the morning. Like I said, it's my birthday. I'll be doing as much streaming as I can today. But definitely tune in for the Corsair Cup. It's in about 4.5 hours from now. It's open signups again, so if you've got European pros you really want to see play, like you really want to see uThermal play, go tweet at him, ask him to sign up. You want to see other people play, tweet at him, ask him to sign up. Because I think right now the concern is that maybe a lot of people don't realize it's back. It's up on the Team Liquid calendar, but signups are like so-so. So be sure to tune in for that, and let's hope we get some good signups for it. Rapid, man, it was good seeing you again. Zeph, I don't know if you can hear me right now or not, but I know you'll hear it through the delay one way or the other. It was really nice to see you as well. And have a good time in the finals, guys.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right.
Bye, Rifkin. Okay, we're gonna go to
Bye,
a break.
guys.
See you guys soon.